In Texas, a number of years ago, I heard stories of a little girl, 5 years old, who was a natural healer through love. I went down to meet her, and her mother told me the child was always telling everybody that she loved them. She would say, "I see that love all around everybody and around myself." Whenever she heard of anyone who was ill, she would ask her mother to take her to them, and in almost every instant where she was taken into the room of the sick person, that one would get right up out of bed perfectly well. That child has gone on to develop, and she is doing a great work today. There are many such instances. I knew of a child in Holland. In Holland, they have the red clover. It stands up about 15 or 16 inches above the ground with beautiful blossoms. The clover is just about the level with the porch floor of the farmhouse. I was visiting there one Sunday afternoon, and we were sitting on the front porch when that child walked right out across the field of clover, for about 30 yards, right on those heads of clover. She never touched the ground with her feet. She just walked out, turned around, and came back and stepped onto the porch. We asked the child how she accomplished that. She said, "I don't know, I just give love to everything. I love that clover, and that clover holds me up." And we found that she did. She talked about her playmates and said that she loved them all, and they loved her, and so nothing could happen to them. I knew this girl until she was 21 years old. She moved into Belgium at that time, and there I lost track of her. Her father told me that the only word he had ever heard her use was love for everybody. And that love heals. Each one of us can do the same thing. It is so simple to radiate that great love out to everyone, even as those children did. When I was in Spain, at one of the largest copper mines in the world, a Russian family with a little girl, 11 years old, moved over there, and the father was working in the mine. They told me their child had what was known as the healing touch. She would put her hand on a person and say, "I love you, and I love you so much that your illness has passed away. It is gone. I have filled that space with love." And we found that to be true. In the case of a deformity, the body would become absolutely perfect. I saw a person in almost the last stages of epilepsy. This girl put her hand on that individual and said, "Your whole body is full of love, and I see only the light." In less than 3 minutes, that malady was gone completely. The light and love emanating from her being were so powerful we could actually see it and feel it. When I was a small boy, I was playing with some of the children just outside our home in Konkanna, India. Darkness was approaching very rapidly, for in that country there is no twilight. One little boy picked up a stick and hit me across the arm and broke both bones, and my hand fell right back. Of course, at first it was terribly painful, and then my thoughts went to a statement I had been given by my teacher. "Go into the dark and put your hand in the hand of God, for that is better than a light and safer than a known way." The light just surrounded me, and almost instantly that pain vanished completely. I climbed up into a great banyan tree to be alone, and the light still surrounded me. I looked at it as a presence, but I'll never forget the incident. And as I sat there alone in that tree, that hand righted itself. I remained up in that tree all night. The next morning there was no sign of a break except for a ridge around the 2 bones which had been broken. Now my parents thought I had been cared for and put to bed by the servants. When I told them next morning what had happened, they couldn't believe it and took me to a doctor immediately. He said the bones had been broken but were knitted perfectly now. From that day on, the hand has never bothered me. I merely cite a few of these instances for examples because they are so simple and so natural that all may do the same. I have seen where the building itself responded to the love poured out by an entire audience. As the immortal Gautama Buddha has said, to give 5 minutes to the realization of true divine love is greater than to pass 1,000 bowls of food to the needy, because in giving forth love, you help every soul in the universe. It melts right down, of course, to the words we use and the thoughts and feelings we have. Words are things, thoughts are things. Where your thoughts are, you are. When we learn to discipline and control our thoughts and feelings, and use only the positive, constructive words sent forth with divine love, our body and mind respond to that righteousness, right useness. The right use and the selection of words is of vital importance, but equally important is the feeling behind these words, for feeling is a motivating power that makes the words live. This is where divine love enters in. It doesn't mean we are to go around saying, love, love, love. We speak the words once with feeling, with vision, with conviction, with acceptance. And instantly the law moves into action to bring it into fulfillment. Before you have spoken, I have answered. It is already there. In the words of Buddha, use love, concentrate upon it, treat yourself with love, morning, noon, and night. As you sit down to partake of your food, use love, think it, feel it, and your food will taste a lot better. There are many gems given forth by Buddha which have never been printed. The poet Tagore used many of them in his writings. He was a man who knew how to use and express love. He knew it. He was. He is. Love is far the most important thing of all. It is the golden gate of paradise. Pray for the understanding of love. Meditate upon it daily. It casts out fear. It is the fulfillment of the law. It conquers multitudes of sins. Love is abundantly invisible. Love will conquer all. There is no disease that enough love will not heal today. No door that enough love will not open. No gulf that enough love will not bridge. No wall that enough love will not throw down. No sin that enough love will not redeem. Questions and answers. Question. I know a doctor who spent 7 or 8 years in India. When he returned to this country, he challenged the county medical society. He asked them to present their test tubes containing the most virulent typhoid and other germs. He drank an amount sufficient to kill a young army, and nothing came of it. I found out afterward that it was the conscious control of the thyroid. He apparently controlled the machinery of immunity. Answer. Yes, it can be carried to immunity to every disease. Question. How does the voluntary control of the thyroid gland affect acidity, so essential in warding off the effects of bacteria? Answer. Acidity is controlled to a great extent with the voluntary control of the thyroid gland. It can be directed and stimulated to the extent that it controls acidity to an almost unlimited degree. I have heard of a number of Hindus say that that is the reason they can control the bacteria. Acidity simply kills them off. The thyroid is stimulated with certain exercises that must be given by one versed in this teaching. Their mode is to stimulate the thyroid until it presents the proper amount of the fluid for the body's use. Question. Do the parathyroids have any use? Answer. Yes, the parathyroids are a very great adjuvant. They control the metabolism of calcium or lime. They can be stimulated until calcium can be brought into the system to create a new set of teeth at any time. Question. How are they stimulated? Answer. The important element of their stimulation is concentration on the thyroid through a spiritual influence, and that is exactly what we are talking about. Question. Can you bring that into the realm of oxidation and the control of breathing? Answer. With the breathing should be the spiritual exercises as well, that is, the exercise of the thought through the spiritual application. Question. By concentration, do you mean the visualization of the thyroid working perfectly? Answer. Yes, in perfect order and perfect harmony. Question. Is there not something of a definite association between respiration and the thyroid action, also oxidation through posture and breathing exercise? Answer. Yes, that is the reason why posture and breathing exercises are given, to bring the whole activity of the body under spiritual influence.